Hey there YouTubes, Chris Holman here. It's a day at a range. We're not doing a live stream today. Well, I actually did a live stream earlier on the whole Trump thing, but anyway, it is about, I guess, about 1:30, Monday the 23rd of July 2018. Today we're going to be going over cross-eye dominant, how that affects your shooting, particularly in regards to handguns, and then I'm going to show some just a little bit on standing posture for shooting, kind of go over bladed versus squared up behind the rifle. So that's what we're doing today. So I'm going to be using this Hi-Point 45 JHP. That was a gift to me from my father. We're going to be shooting that today, and we're going to be shooting old Commander here. So I've since dubbed her. This is my newest member of the family. We've got an 18-inch, heavy 18-inch Cold Hammer Forge chrome line barrel, mid-length gas system. The only thing I'm going to probably change on this is the trigger and the grip. Other than that, she's pretty much set. At the very least, I'm going to change the springs. At the very least. So, before we get started, she's clear. She's clear. So there you go. So let me set old Commander over here at the side. So when it comes to a handgun firing cross-eye dominant, that being your dominant eye is the opposite of your dominant hand, whereas I'm cross-eye dominant, where I'm right-handed but left-eye dominant, right? I've talked about this before, but I've never demonstrated this. When you fire a handgun, you want both eyes open. But a lot of times, if you're cross-eye dominant and you leave both eyes open and you just down the sights as one normally would, you'll get kind of almost a double of your handgun. It makes it it's a bit difficult, to say the least. So what you're going to do, your traditional grip, right-handed. Here we go. And what I always teach is kind of turn in. Tension creates stability, right? So as you're pushing forward with your firing hand and back with your non-firing hand, that creates tension, and then you're going to create further tension by turning in, turning your firing hand into your non-firing hand. And you're going to turn, you're actually going to turn your head in the direction of your dominant side, and you're going to sight down those sights, lining up your front and rear sight as such. Again, let me show it, make sure you can see that right. Just like that. And if you're cross-eye dominant and you've been shooting left-handed, or you've been shooting right-handed, but just kind of struggling, you know, you want to create that muscle memory. So you want to get to the range as often as you can and try that. Add that to your routine. You're just going to turn your head just slightly towards your dominant side and sight down with your with both eyes open. Sight down your sights with your dominant eye. Pretty straightforward. So what I'm going to do here now is pull out a magazine. Now I only brought one magazine here with me, one full magazine to fire with this. I got plenty of ammo for Commander here. So I'm going to reposition the camera here, and so that you can see how I fire. And we're going to fire this one magazine here, and you can see how this works. Alright, I got the camera repositioned here. I need to get, of course, my hearing protection. Trust me, you're going to want hearing protection when you shoot. I've shot plenty of times without hearing protection, and yeah, I'm suffering for it. I got tinnitus. They say it's, some people say you can fix it. I don't know. Hearing protection, some kind, either some type of ballistic earplugs or ear muffs, something to protect your hearing. Alright, magazine is inserted, round is in the chamber, weapon is on fire. So I'm going to square up behind it, forward pressure with my firing hand, backwards pressure with my non-firing hand, turned in to my non-firing hand, knees slightly bent, slightly forward. Alright, we're clear. Weapon on safe. It's that simple. You're just going to kind of get used to that. I'm going to be honest. I've only learned that trick probably about a year and a half ago, maybe at most. Like I've said many times in other videos, I'm not really a handgun guy. I'm a rifle guy. I see a handgun as what you use until you can get to your rifle. A rifle is more accurate, it's more stable, more reliable in my opinion. You have a higher round capacity. It's easier to learn and use. All in all, a rifle, in my opinion, is superior to a handgun in every way except for concealability. And I'm gonna be honest, concealability, well, I mean, if you got a concealed carry permit and you're a law-abiding citizen, you know, there you go. Criminals choose handguns over 95% of the time. Why? Because they're concealable. It doesn't mean it's bad, it's just a tool. Alright folks, so the next segment we're gonna go over is Commander. Stay tuned, let me get set back up. Alright, I'm back. So here we go. We're going to go over standing firing position with a rifle. And I'm going to show a little bit of shooting here before I get going. You know, it was a beautiful day. When I got here, there was one guy and he was packing up. I got this range all to myself. That's kind of what happens when it's on a Monday or Thursday at this range. So that's why I'm here today, I suppose. Alright. So when it comes to shooting a rifle, up until probably the last, I don't know, 20 years or so, 25 years, typical training in the military for a standing firing position was bladed, if even just slightly so. And what I mean by bladed is that you're not squared up behind the rifle. You're firing from a more side, where the side is facing, your side of your body is facing the target, right? There are benefits to that in that, of course, the width of your body to the side is much less than the width of your body facing you. The problem with that is recoil management. Now, the AR doesn't have much recoil, but many rifles do. If you're going to make a single precise shot, that bladed standing firing position will likely be what you're going to use. If you're shooting out to say 200, 250, 300 meters from a standing position and you're just going to make one shot, or maybe just a few shots, but you're not going to be firing rapidly, that bladed fire position is probably what you're going to want to go with. At closer up distances, where you're going to be firing controlled pairs, in that situation you're going to be squared up behind the rifle. The benefit to the military, another benefit other than recoil management is, of course, the military's adoption of body armor, individual body armor, making being squared up to your target being less of an issue. Now, how does that exactly affect recoil management? Well, when it comes to a moving object, when it comes to something, it's going to move in the distance of, or in the direction of least resistance, right? Same thing with your rifle when there's recoil. So if you're bladed, if you're right-handed and you're bladed, when you fire, and I'll demonstrate this in a moment, when you fire, that barrel is going to go up and over. It's going to go up and over. If you're firing squared up behind the rifle, that recoil has nowhere to go but straight back instead of into the shoulder, right? So squared up behind it, it's going to come straight back, and you might have some barrel rise. When it comes to controlled pairs and rapid firing, you're wanting to control that barrel rise, and it's much easier to control when you're squared up behind it. Of course, your choice of muzzle device helps, as well as your posture, all of those things. So let me get set back up. I'll show you both a firing bladed, and you can see how that affects the muzzle rise, and then I'll show you firing squared up behind the rifle and how that affects your recoil management and follow-up shots. All right, I'm back. I've got old Commander here and 30 round magazine, and I'm going to show you first the posture of bladed versus being squared away behind the rifle. So as I had just previously shown, that to be bladed, you're going to be behind the rifle as such. There you go. And behind the rifle, bladed like this. You can see, you know, they used to even teach, you know, you get that chicken wing, that elbow coming out, but that was really more to do with your more traditional stock. With a pistol grip stock, you don't need to. In fact, you want to have your elbow in. But even bladed, it's going to be, and see, as from a tactical standpoint, that is a very slim profile to be targeted. And if I'm making a shot, say 150, 200, 250 yards, just a single shot at a target, there ain't nothing wrong with that. And to be honest, well, I mean, you could even, you can be effective at any range with that, but you want to be the most effective shooter you can be. And to be the most effective at close ranges, say, I'd say even out to, oh, I don't know, 50 yards, 100 yards, something like that. Being squared up behind that rifle is going to give you more consistent and accurate shots at a higher rate of fire, and that can mean a big difference. When it comes to the 5.56 round, when you're engaging a target, if you can shoot a controlled pair, that's what you want to do. So say an intruder comes into your home, you're going to be squared up behind your rifle, and a controlled pair, and that means you're going to pull the trigger twice, pop pop, just like that. You're going to pull the trigger twice. It's not a double tap. That is something entirely different. I just want to make this perfectly clear. A double tap is you pull the trigger, you realize they're not dead, and you shoot them again. That's a double tap. That's illegal. You'll go to prison. All right. Well, let me get this rifle lubed up and ready to go, and so I'll be right back in a moment, and we'll put some rounds down range. All right, we're back for this. We're back for this last segment here. I'm going to show you. I'm going to shoot about 5 rounds, bladed. Now, mind you, the AR does not have a whole lot of recoil. It really doesn't. But I want you to pay attention to the barrel rise. How that how that works. There is going to be more barrel rise from a bladed firing position versus squared up, and I want you to pay attention to that. And that is going to affect the speed in which you can engage with those follow-up shots. Weapon is on safe, bolt is locked to the rear. Insert that mag, get a little tug. All right. So you can see there's a little bit of barrel rise, not much. It is an AR. This is not a high-powered rifle round, but there is. Pay attention to the difference in barrel rise and recoil from firing from a bladed position versus from being squared up. And that squared up, we'll see, rifle is clear. Rifle is clear. Squared up, might have to, likely I have to collapse that buttstock, but you're gonna be squared up behind it, feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, slightly forward, squared up behind it. Firing elbow tucked in into your side, just like that. That is your being squared up behind the rifle. So we're going to shoot the rest of this mag, and we're going to shoot the rest of this other mag, and we're going to call it a day. Well, I'm going to do some more shooting, but alright. So here we go. Weapon on safe, bolt locked to the rear. You'll notice that my grip on the forend, it's called a thumb over bore. Thumb over bore, or a C grip. And I'm using this vertical grip as more like a hand stop. Alright. Here we go. Let's finish out this mag. Alright, weapon's clear. We'll go with this next mag. Let's have a little fun with this one. There we go. The difference in barrel rise is I wouldn't call it game changing, in that, I mean, you can still fire effectively from a bladed standing firing position. However, those follow-up shots are going to be easier to get. They're going to be more accurate, and the movement of the end of your barrel after a shot is going to be less. So there you go. That's our video for today. Shooting a handgun when cross-eye dominant, and the bladed versus squared up standing firing position. Thanks for watching. God is love. God bless.